So let's look ahead. There's going to be a game a few hours north of you guys in Tuscaloosa. Texas, Alabama, game of the week. The game we've been talking about all summer. Who are you looking at most in this game? Who do you want to see shine, and what matchups really stick out to you?
It's going to be a good one, Andy. I can't wait. Sad thing is, I'm already thinking about how I'm getting home because it's a 7:00 kick.
Yep.
And if you've ever driven from Mobile to Tuscaloosa, it's all back roads and deer are running all over the place. I'm probably going to hit a deer or something coming home. But no, the hard part about live scouting a game like this is like, where do you focus your attention? Your eyes are all over the place as a scout. So you do have to go in with a plan. There's prospects everywhere. I will be interested to see Texas defensive line against this Alabama offensive line. I mean, Alabama's offensive line played great last week. From everything I've heard from people up at Alabama, they were happy with how those guys came out. Kind of a new look group this year, but Texas has a good front. They really do. A really front seven. They've got some good players. So I'll be looking in the trenches mainly because that's really where a lot of guys are for this year's game. And then we'll see on the outside, like Jermaine Burton at Alabama is a skill guy for Alabama that's got a chance to be here. And he's going up against a Texas secondary that's got 5 guys on our watch list. So there'll be some good matchups there. But I would say inside, like Tavondre Sweat, Alfred Collins, those defensive linemen for the Mike linebacker will be guys I'll be focused on.
Yeah, Sweat, Collins, Byron Murphy, old interior D-line guys who seem to have kind of come on in the last couple of years.
Yeah, you talk to the staff there. I don't think it's any secret. I don't think I'm shocking the players if they're listening to this. I mean, just the maturity part. They've been waiting for Tavondre to grow up, and he was behind a couple good players last year, Keandre Coburn and Ajomo. Those guys were good players, and now it's his turn. Now it's Tavondre's turn, and Alfred Collins is another guy that, I was talking to a scout at the Tulane game the other day. Collins was a backup last year, right, behind a couple guys that were later round draft picks, and I know the staff reached out to this particular scout and asked him last year, like, we're trying to get draft grades together for Alfred Collins, help him make the decision. And he was like, well, shoot, man, you might not want to hear this, but he might be a second or third round guy, even as a backup.
Wow.
Probably not the news you want to hear if you're trying to keep a player in school, right? But it all worked out for Texas. They got Alfred Collins back. But to me, that tells you if you grade the flashes with Alfred Collins, and we use that term a lot in scouting, if we grade the flashes here, this is where the guy's ceiling is. And Alfred Collins, his ability to get after the quarterback from the interior, we saw all these guys get paid this summer. That's where the NFL is investing their money right now. Alfred Collins can do that, man. Like, he's a big, long, athletic joker, and he can get after the QB. So he can make money in a game like Saturday night. You go up to Tuscaloosa and you put in a performance, you can make a lot of money and really help your stock.
We'll be right back with more from Jim Nagy, but first, we're going to talk about Game Time. It is the least stressful way to get last-minute tickets, and there's some tickets that I think everybody who's a college football fan would love to have, and that would be tickets to the Texas-Alabama game in Tuscaloosa, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Well, guess what? They got them on Game Time. Now, I'm not going to lie. You could spend a lot of money to get into this game, but you could also go on Game Time. You type in Alabama. It's going to say, do you want Alabama the band or Alabama football? Kind of want both, but we're going Alabama football here. You can get into this game on Game Time for $158. That's the lowest get-in price. That is incredible. You can spend a lot of money if you want to, but $158. And when you click that price, a picture comes up. It's a picture inside the stadium. It's not a generic picture of the stadium. That is the view from the seat you would be buying. Now, let's say too rich for your blood, but you want to see a marquee game this weekend. All right, so we go back. We type in NC State football. Click on that. Notre Dame is headed to Raleigh to play NC State. Get in price on Game Time right now, $105. You click it. You see exactly what you'd be looking at. It's a pretty good seat. If you look at where you'd be sitting in the stadium, that's a pretty good view. At that point, you're only about 2 clicks away from having those tickets. And before you check out, enter the code STAPLES. You get $20 off your first purchase. So go to Game Time, download the app, Find the tickets you want. Redeem the code Staples, $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, stress-free, guaranteed. Game time. One more game that I imagine you've got your eyes on, Notre Dame and NC State. It feels like, especially along the line of scrimmage again, Notre Dame offensive line, NC State front seven, that there's a lot to look at here.
There's a lot to look at there, but I'll really be focused on the QBs. We're trying to figure this quarterback thing out, Andy, and Sam Hartman has done everything he can possibly do in these first two games against the first game against who they go. It was an Air Force.
They were Navy first.
Navy,
and
that's
then
right.
State,
Navy, and then Tennessee State. So he's done everything he can do, but now it's back into the ACC. And for him, the good thing for him, it's familiar people. Like he'll go out. NC State's got a couple good corners that are on our board right now. He's seen those guys. He's got the book on them. So that'll be a good one. And then Brennan Armstrong too. I watched him last week against Boston College. He actually did more with his legs than he did his arm. He kind of was channeling his inner Tim Tebow the other night up against UConn and ran the ball a ton. So I want to see him put it up a little bit. But yeah, we got to dial in on these QBs. It's such a deep class. But you're right. I mean, there's some guys in the trenches on both sides, on both these teams that are good players.
The Hartman Armstrong thing is interesting to me because you're getting to see these guys against similar competition. Like you have tape of these guys playing against these defenses, but on different teams. Is that useful to? Because like Sam Hartman, for example, his last two games against NC State, he had a win and a loss, combined to throw 6 picks. That they have been one of the more successful defenses, Tony Gibson's defense against Sam Hartman. So does it help you evaluate now getting to see him with different players around him?
Yeah, and if I'm Sam Hartman, it's my chance to go out and light it up and be like, you know what, that was the offense. That was the Wake Forest offense. That wasn't me. No, Wake's. I got to say this. Whenever anyone talks about Sam Hartman, they always talk about him wanting to transfer and show the NFL scouts what he can do in more of a pro style offense. Give it to Dave Clawson and the guys at Wake. They've done an unbelievable job. They don't need to worry about the NFL and what gets guys to the league, right? But no, it's a good. I didn't know that stat about Sam. Now that thanks for keying me in on that. I'll be watching for that on Saturday. But that's it's very unlike Hartman to throw that many picks. So, but yeah, it's useful, man. I mean, you see him in different uniforms with different guys around him. Again, the portal stuff is made the evaluation part more difficult in some ways. Really, to track the players, it's made it really difficult. But in terms of like seeing guys playing different schemes and stuff, it's been really helpful.
Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.